Hello everybody, this is Money Mom. Welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd do kind of a fun video today about 10 things you never say to somebody. Some of these ideas I've read about. Many of them are from my own personal experience, so I didn't read them online. Some of these I'm guilty of saying myself, and some of these I've had said to me and I didn't enjoy them. So, and I'll tell you the one that I really regret the most, but let me get started. Number one, telling someone you look tired. Well, I've heard that that is not a good thing to say to somebody because they may be feeling just fine and it kind of insults them. So that's number one. Number two, and this is a big one. I've had people ask me this because I didn't get married till age 29. When are you getting married? And they want to match you up with somebody and they just think that you should be getting married. Now, I don't think people ask this question as much nowadays. But remember, I'm 54, going to be 55 in March. Right when I graduated college, a lot of people were getting married right out of college. So it was unusual if you weren't. Then after you get married, the second after you get married is when are you having kids or when are you having the next child? I've had that happen to me. I actually had a lady that got upset and told me that I was selfish that I just had one child and didn't understand why I had an only child. She had no idea whether I had trouble getting pregnant, whether or not we could even have another child. She didn't even know, but she just thought it was selfish not to give my daughter a second brother or sister. I'm very sensitive about the topics of marriage and children because, number one, some people may not want to get married or have children. Number two, maybe somebody was in a relationship for a long time and they, it was an abrupt breakup and they're hurting. And maybe with the child situation, maybe they can't have children and it's a very painful topic. So I really am very cautious of not asking those questions. Number four, this is the one that I've asked. It was a long time ago and boy, do I regret it. When is your baby due? Well, you know what the answer was when I asked this particular person. They said, I'm not pregnant. I was mortified and I vowed to never ask that question again. Number five, and this is the one I read about. You never say, no offense, but, because when someone says that, you already feel like they're talking down to you and you've already kind of blocked them off because when they say no offense, you know it's going to be something that may be offensive. So I've heard not to say that. This one I wrote down. If somebody tells you, you should do this, or you shouldn't do that, or you need to do this, or you needn't do this. When people say that, for me, I put a block up because a lot of times it's someone that maybe doesn't know me really well. They want to give all this unsolicited advice. And I've heard people say, quit shoulding me to death, which I totally agree with. You have to be cautious, but when you put certain words out there like you should or you shouldn't, people right away, they put a wall up and they don't listen anymore. If you want people to listen to some of what you feel is important for them to know, we can use different terminology. Number seven, and this is a big one because it goes along with shaming. I told you so. For example, you may have started a healthy eating plan or a budget, and maybe you're not able to stick to whatever the plan is, or it's a business you started, maybe it wasn't successful. And someone says, well, I told you so. I told you that it wouldn't work out. Well, you're already feeling bad enough as it is. You don't need to knife in the back, as you would say, and have somebody cutting you down more when you're already down in the dumps. Number eight, and this is one of my favorites, and I know someone that does this. They never apologize, but if they do, they'll say, I'm sorry, but, and then they give an excuse. To me, that is not an apology. An apology is really being very sincerely sorry for what happened and taking ownership of where you made a mistake. Number nine, and this is something I grew up with, and I notice nowadays people seem to ask this, and I'm not exactly sure why. I was raised not to ask anybody who they're voting for, and really not to even talk about politics at all, but you don't ask someone who they're voting for. That's just my personal opinion. Some of these are my opinion, guys. That to me is personal. A vote is private, and you don't ask someone, who are they voting for in the next election. That's a good way to get arguments starting. I've seen a lot of them on Facebook, and I stay clear. Number 10, and this is one that I came up with, and I thought it was a good one. Are you supposed to be eating that? Think about this. There's all different eating plans out there. Maybe someone's taking a break. Hey, maybe they just don't want to be on their eating plan anymore. But if you tell someone you're, quote, on a healthy eating plan, some people will watch you like a watchdog and, make observations about every single thing you're putting in your mouth, which, that happens sometimes. But to me, that's not something to ask somebody. So these are some of the things that I wrote down of 10 things to not say to anyone, in my opinion. I definitely was guilty of asking, when is your baby due? And I have tried to marry people off before. I used to. I don't do that anymore. So I would love to know, are any of these questions that you don't like being asked, or comments you don't like being said to you? Or be honest, are you guilty of any of these? Hey, we're not perfect, right? So let me know in the comments below. This is Money Mom signing off, and as always, I love you. Bye-bye.